Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me for another exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin Market Update. Of course, I am your host, Justin Wise, lead analyst and senior mentor at CrackingCryptocurrency.com. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day wherever you happen to be tuning in from. Of course, today is June 7th, 2019. Foul year of our Lord. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Hopefully the positions are looking good. We got an exciting show for you guys today. We're going to talk about price appreciation. We're going to talk a little bit about Facebook's global coin, because I'm really kind of interested by that as well. We're also going to talk a little bit about savings. We're going to talk a little bit about savings and how to, we're going to talk a little bit about, if we have time, if we don't get inundated with the charts. But something that I'd like to touch on a little bit is making sure that you guys are protected from anything that might happen economically in the world, especially, and one thing that I want to point out, especially for the American viewers that are watching, is that typically, we're very keen to value our wealth in USD. It's very natural, and I talk about this. This is what I recommend. Generally, you always want to value your wealth in whatever your native currency is, because that's how you're going to get things done. Americans have had it really easy for quite a long time because our native currency has also been the world reserve currency. So we're going to talk a little bit about potentially how to take advantage of other currencies, and I talk with traders from all over the world, and this is something that they naturally think about. They naturally think about holding other currencies than their own native currency. And this is something Americans don't typically think of. Like, why, for example, would it be a good thing to hold as part of your savings Chinese yuan or Russian rubles or New Zealand kiwi or something like that, for example, right? And this is going to make a lot of sense to Forex traders as well, for individuals that are trading foreign currencies against one another. You're always, typically, if you're an American trader, still valuing that same wealth in USD. So really, we're talking about what we're holding back for savings. And obviously, as you guys know, precious metals have always been a good store of value. They have intrinsic value. Cryptocurrency has intrinsic value as well. In fact, if you guys saw a tweet this morning from Jameson Lopp, the time it would take for a malicious actor or a malicious attacker to rewrite the entire blockchain network has reached an all-time high. Basically, it's almost physically impossible, even if somebody had the entire hashing power of the full blockchain network, to rewrite the hash power in the time that it would take for somebody else. This is something that we talked about with 51% attacks. With Bitcoin in particular, with other smaller blockchains that don't have as much hash rate, it just comes down to hash rate, than the Bitcoin blockchain, it's easy, I wouldn't say easy, but easier to do something more malicious. But with the Bitcoin blockchain, a 51% attack is nothing that we necessarily want to be scared of. I mean, it is, don't get me wrong, but people have this idea in their head that if there is a 51% attack, that the malicious actor would be able to somehow rewrite all of Bitcoin's history, would be able to completely move funds around, take Satoshi's coins himself. That's just not the case. A malicious actor, if a malicious attacker were able to get 51% of the hash power for Bitcoin, they would have to rewrite the entire blockchain faster than it would take everybody else to write one block, right? To write one block, because it's proof of weight. The consensus moves to the most recently mined block. That's actually written into the consensus rules if you guys look at the source code. So, even though a actor might be able to change the last block or maybe the last two blocks, so basically switch around any transactions that have occurred recently, the idea that anybody would be able to do anything substantial to the entirety of Bitcoin's network is generally overrated and not true. The nice thing about cryptocurrency and about Bitcoin in particular is, and this is a conversation I was having the other day with a friend of mine, is that we can hard fork. We can simply hard fork off, right? Another thing that I want to talk about is, and I want to clear this up because this just has to do with a basic understanding of how things work in the marketplace. Altcoin to Bitcoin valuation. So a common question that I've gotten lately, it seems like I've gotten this question a lot over the last 2 weeks. So I'm going to address it here and then maybe I won't have to answer it anymore, but it's okay. If I probably will continue to have to answer it. So when Bitcoin pumps, altcoins to Bitcoins go down. Okay, it seems natural. But the reasoning for that, most people seem to think, is because that somehow happens naturally. In fact, I have seen this posted like all over the internet, that this is just fact. That's not true. And I'll explain why. So if Bitcoin moves up relative to USD, so if the BTC to USD price goes up, we have to think carefully about what does that mean, all right? So we have a base pair, which is Bitcoin. If you look at the ticker symbol, it says BTC/USD, okay? So in regular terms, you have a base pair and a quote pair. So BTC is going to be, or Bitcoin is your base pair, and USD is your quote pair. Basically, you are quoting Bitcoin against United States dollar. So how much is one Bitcoin worth relative to United States dollars? How much is the one thing on the left side of the slash valued relative to the other side? How many of these on the right side will this buy you? Okay, so the BTC USD chart is always valued to 1. So 1 Bitcoin is equal to this amount on the right-hand side of the chart. Okay, so keep that in your head as we move forward to an alt BTC, right? So an ALT BTC, an altcoin to Bitcoin, you have the altcoin is always going to be 1. So 1 altcoin on the left side valued against Bitcoin, right? So how many of these altcoins, or how much one altcoin will buy you of Bitcoin? How much is this altcoin worth relative to Bitcoin? Okay, so whatever happens on the BTC USD chart does not directly affect whatever happens on the alt to Bitcoin chart, right? Because you're measuring against different quote pairs. There is no direct correlation in the sense that people would think. All that would happen is if in a static world, now we'll get into the nuances of this in a little bit because something does happen, but I want to make it very clear about the correlation. When BTC to USD goes up, if we're just in a static marketplace where there's no buying and selling, right, in the moment. So let's just say that alt BTC values are frozen and BTC USD is unfrozen, is not static. So BTC USD begins moving up, right? Price starts appreciating Bitcoin relative to the USD quote pair. What that means is that anything that's quoted against Bitcoin is also going to increase in USD value because their quote pair, which is Bitcoin, is moving up relative to USD value. So the altcoin to Bitcoin pair is now going to be worth more money because in USD, because that Bitcoin that we're quoting against is now worth more money. Okay. The BTC USD price moving up would never suppress or push down the ALT to USD price in a static market, the ALT to USD price in a static market, or the alt to Bitcoin price in a static market, okay? Because Bitcoin is now worth more dollars, it does not mean that the altcoin is now worth less Bitcoin, right? Now, that's the reality. That's how it actually works mathematically, realistically, in a static marketplace. Now, we don't exist in a static marketplace. We exist in an active marketplace, which means whenever we're looking at these prices as quoted by exchanges, right? So these exchanges are aggregating the buying and selling activity of individuals. So what is price? What is current price? What is close? All it is the last price traded, the last agreed upon price, because that is considered by the marketplace, by us, to be the last fair price of whatever that transaction was, right? So for example, if we're looking at let me find LTC. So LTC BTC is currently trading at 0.014793 sats, right? Bitcoin. It's worth 0.0148 now. Sorry, it rose up a mill bit on Binance. So that's how many satoshis one Litecoin is worth. That's how much Bitcoin one Litecoin is worth at this point in time. Human beings are buying and selling that. And all that means is that was the last price that somebody bought for it and somebody sold at, right? What the market is constantly doing is constantly battling over fair price by gauging the sentiment of individuals who are willing to buy at this level and the sentiment of individuals who are willing to sell at this level. So it is the direct market actions of individuals that are dictating last price. So here's what actually happens. When in a static market, in reality, if Bitcoin to USD goes up, there is no direct change that happens to the altcoin to Bitcoin chart or to the altcoin to Bitcoin price. Nothing at all, right? Doesn't matter if Bitcoin goes up, down, left, right, or sideways, right? The only thing that's going to change that altcoin to Bitcoin price is somebody selling or buying. That's it. And the reality is that you have algorithms and traders in the moment who are always, generally, going to dump an altcoin when Bitcoin's price moves up to move into Bitcoin. Now, generally, this is all automated. The vast majority of the volume that does this is automated. And this is portfolio diversification bots. So you have individuals out there who have their trades or their holdings fully automated, and they're based off risk models. And this is exactly why quants get paid so much money to develop projects like this, to develop programs like this, and really to develop the analysis of what a good ratio is. So when Bitcoin's price starts moving up, these bots are going to trigger and start selling off altcoins to move that wealth into Bitcoin. That's the only reason the alt to Bitcoin price goes down. That's the only reason, or if anybody on that market is directly selling. Bitcoin to USD's price going up does not statically, directly move an altcoin to Bitcoin value down. It's just not true. That's a misnomer. So I've gotten that question a whole lot. So I just wanted to clear that up so people would understand how a marketplace works. A lot of people are just very confused about, in general, about how markets work, about how price is quoted, about just how markets work in general, and that's okay. Most individuals, I wouldn't say most, a good preponderance of individuals who are trading cryptocurrency don't have traditional experience in equity or forex, and that's okay. That's okay. You don't need to. You absolutely don't need to. In fact, one of the questions that I commonly get from potential students is, and I get it in the comment section all the time, is, to take your course or to trade along with you or even to watch your show, do I need to be an expert trader or be a seasoned veteran or have experience? And no, you don't. In fact, that's the entire reason why I created PTP in the first place. That's the reason I do this show every day in the first place is because, and the reason that I did, and the reason that I started cracking cryptocurrency in the first place is because most of the education and the way that most traders out there already trade right now sucks anyways. This is why most traders are losing money. And, I can see it all the time when I get I rarely get them, but sometimes I get negative comments in the comment section. And that's just going to be natural. Whenever you put yourself out there, a lot of individuals are so full of, self-reprobation or self-guilt or fear or anxiety or pain that it's easy for them to just lash out at anybody who makes themselves a public easy target. That's fine. That's what I'm here to do. It doesn't bother me whatsoever. I guess I kind of lost my train of thought there. Way to go, Justin. You were just on the verge of making a dramatic point, and you lost it. Lost it in the final hour. Well, that's why you guys tune in. It's for the fun, for the laughs, for the loves. All right, guys. Moving on. I'm sure I'll think of it maybe at some point in time here. TLDR. Yes, you can learn. It's easy to learn. Okay, yeah, I remember now why. Sorry about that, guys. Now that I've completely discredited myself, is because I think that what most newer students of mine have to do, who are experienced traders, is they kind of have to forget most of the stuff that they filled that they filled their noggin up with in the first place. Because I genuinely trade a completely different way. I come from a background of trading equity. I come from a background of trading forex. I come from a background of managing larger sums of money. And when you have larger sums of money, and this is kind of like, so this is something I want to talk about. People say that if you're not getting cryptocurrency, if you're not getting like ICO returns through trading, then you're a bad trader. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. Most people have no realistic expectations for what an actual trader makes. Most people have an unrealistic expectation of what capital returns. So let's put this into, I just want to put this into a framework for you guys. Warren Buffett is considered one of the world's most successful investors, and Warren Buffett returns 20% a year. Okay. And that individual, his firm, manages billions of dollars. Okay. So very, very, very wealthy people. And keep in mind, and this is why companies and business interests and even cryptocurrency development companies, regardless of how you feel, we're politically agnostic here. But however you feel, typically run away from countries with liberal policies, because liberal policies can be very good for society. Sometimes depends on how they're enacted, but they can often be very terrible for businesses, right? And keep very well in mind that just as every business knows, just as every startup knows, you need investors and you need capital to actually get something off the ground. I personally believe that this is a natural way that the universe works to aggregate wealth into the hands of individuals who know what to do with it. I know that's probably controversial, but the way that I feel about governments and businesses is very different. I don't believe that businesses or individuals who have lots of wealth, I actually don't even think that concentration of wealth is a problem. I don't. I think that concentration of power through the use of force is dangerous. That's why I am very skeptical about governments, right? Governments have the ability to issue fiat declarations and enforce them with the use of violence, right? That's what it all comes down to. If you don't pay your taxes, they're going to send men to your house to throw you into jail. If you break the law, they're going to send men to your house to throw you into jail. If you trade cryptocurrency in the way that they don't want you to, or if you ingest a substance that they don't want you to, or anything, governments have the ability to issue their declarations and solve their problems with the use of violence. Businesses don't. So I do not buy into any of the claptrap, in my opinion, that having more money equals more power to physical violence, right? If that is happening, if we are in that state, that kind of like post-apocalyptic scenario that everybody seems to want to rush to quote to, where, oh, these corporations are bad or businesses are bad or all this aggregated wealth is bad because they can just have like little mini armies and everything like that. If that is the case, then we have completely failed as a society and we've got bigger problems to worry about. And that's probably better than anarchy in any case, right? And by anarchy, I mean bad anarchy, where, you know, dogs sleeping with cats, chaos in the streets. There's a difference between not having rules and being rulerless, right? So if you guys just go read Murray Rothbard or Ludwig von Mises, if you guys understand your economics, if you guys go read a little bit about anarcho-capitalism, regardless of how you feel about it, regardless if you agree about it, there's a huge difference between not having rules and not having rulers, okay? So there's a complete difference between aggregated, you know, between wealth and influence being centralized to a degree in the hands of individuals who have worked hard or been more successful. Regardless, it doesn't matter. That's a long topic that I don't really want to get into right now. And what they're able to do with power, with money and influence and power in that sense, as long as we as a society do not allow them to affect the means to their ends through physical violence, right? Through violence. That right now is the sole property and ownership of the government, right? And because we're all well aware that anybody who uses violence to justify or to solve their own means is illegal, right? And governments break down against that, right? Criminal organizations do it, but again, they're illegal, and that's why criminal organizations don't run massive governments, but maybe they do, if you consider the government as an illegal organization. So I hope my point there is clear. I know that's kind of a complicated topic and can get a little convoluted, but and I don't really know exactly what that had to say with anything that I was talking about earlier, but hopefully I made my point. So kind of a weird day, guys. So it is obviously a Friday. So it's obviously a Friday, guys. So I'm going to drink my water and we're going to get into the charts. Hopefully you guys are doing good. Hopefully I didn't lose too many there with that. And let's get right over. All right, so here we are on the main scene, guys. And by the way, big shout out to, I think I got to do it this way. Big shout out to all the supporters down here. Highly appreciated. If this is your first time to the channel, give us some love, guys. Now, let's see here. So looking at Bitcoin, as you can see from the title of the show, retesting the baseline from the bottom this time, right? So we're going to see exactly what happens. Really at the daily candle close. There's nothing that I'm doing right now. We'll see how the daily candle closes. This might be a situation where I exit my position and just stay 1x flat as I would, because unless we close above the baseline, I do have to actually wait for another signal to go long to move back into Bitcoin. So I'm still flat, still in my 1x short, or excuse me, I'm actually in a full risk short. So should I have to exit that position due to an early exit signal, which I haven't gotten yet, which hasn't confirmed yet, but should that happen, no problem. I'll move out of my full risk short. I'll take the small loss and I'll move back into my 1x short, assuming that Bitcoin is still below the baseline. Really, regardless of whatever happens, I will likely be in a 1x short, regardless of really what happens today. Now, again, we trade current price, so we'll see what current price does. Stan Novak, thank you so much for the subscription over there on YouTube. I got that in time. Yeah, Stan Novak, thanks, man. So, anyways, nothing to do right now as of today. Obviously, taking a long up to the baseline would be a reversal trade. We don't take reversal trades, right? We trade in the direction of the dominant trend. The dominant trend is bearish right now, is to the downside, as denoted by where price is in relation to the baseline. So, is this a situation that should make, or excuse me, is this a situation that makes me uncomfortable? No, it's not, because again, it's not the results of any one trade that matters. It's the mass aggregate of sum of trades over all time that really matters. So, and again, we have no data to go off of right now because it's 12:21. So we've got a whopping 5.5 hours until the daily, 6.5 hours until the daily candle closes for me. So a lot of time for Bitcoin to do something wrong. In fact, the statistical correct move to make in this situation is to be in a fresh short position, because your baseline limit sell order would have been activated, because that's the only way that we do trade reversals in PTP. So we'll see where this goes. We'll see how the daily candle closes. Volume is overall unimpressive. It was most impressive on the movement to the downside, and you need volume to generate a strong trend. You don't need volume to tell you that you're going to continue on in a trend, because you only need volume at the beginning and the end of the trend. In fact, typically when you do see volume come into a market, you're going to see volume come in at the beginning and the end of a trend. So if you are seeing a mass amount of volume and you're getting a continuation signal, that is typically not a trade you want to take. That is often a signal to take trade in the opposite direction. Ermias Test Fam, thank you so much Thank you so much for the subscription on YouTube. So anyways, TLDR, here's the long story short. Price coming up to the baseline, currently rejecting from it. We have to assume, we don't really want to assume anything. We don't want to predict the market. But the setup that we would take in this situation is a reversal sell against the baseline, because that is a reversal trade in the direction of the trend. The current trend is to the downside, as denoted by price's relationship to the baseline and also the signal that we have gotten on Minx over here, all right, as confirmed by Wada Atar. Now, so that's the only thing that I'll be looking at doing. There's only two options for me today because I'm already in a position on Bitcoin. So the only thing that I might be doing today, depending on how the daily candle closes, is exiting my position if necessary, and waiting for a new trend to establish itself. Edward Y11, thank you so much for the subscription over there on YouTube as well, my friend. Nice. So we'll wait and see how the market looks. Let's go down to the lower time frames and see if we do have any other signals on lower time frames as well. Let's go down to the 12-hour chart. 12-hour chart actually breaking above the baseline. We're not allowed. We wouldn't be trading. We wouldn't be taking any long signals. In fact, we don't have a long signal on the 12-hour chart here. As we can see, Wada Atar is keeping us bearish, and Minx is also not giving us a long signal either, because it's going to take time to recover from all this. A little bit more of an indicator reset. We wouldn't be taking a long anyway, because that would be trading against the directional trend of the higher time frames. So keep that in mind. Let's go down and look at the 8-hour time frame. 8-hour time frame as well, not signaling along. We don't have confirmation from either Minx. We might get one on the close of this candle, but if we look down at Wada Atar is keeping us out of the trade, as it often does keep us out of bad trades, also gets us out of good trades. Well, 6-hour did give you a signal on Minx. You would not be able to take that trade because Wada Atar does not confirm anyways, and again, we're not looking to trade against the direction of the dominant trend. So as we can see, the last good setup, I think the best signal that we went over was from the 8-hour time frame here on this short, because this is where Minx did get you into a short on Bitcoin, basically catching the whole move to the downside, hitting all three of your take profit targets. Same on the 6-hour chart, but returning a little bit less profit. I believe it was an 8%. Maybe it was more. Let's double check. Let's just pull up Rodrigo, because this is easily verifiable. And let's go to signal was generated. And let's go down to, so it was about a 9.71, about a 10% trade on the 8-hour time frame. And on the 6-hour time frame, where the signal was generated right here. Come on, Quadrigo. Got that much data to go through, do you? Hello? Let's see here. There it is. That loaded up quickly. Huh. TradingView, what are you doing, man? You're leaving me out in the cold. How do you guys think? How are you guys feeling today? Let's scroll up through the chat and say hello to you guys. Dogecoin is the real Bitcoin? That's better than BSV. Better than that BTC2 crap, too. It's hard, man. Good morning to you, man. Scalping on ByBit. No overload like BitMEX. That's why we trade on there, man. Kyle Kangas, Wayne Tech. What's going on, man? Dubitat Ebrius. Winston Murray says, Justin, you are so wise. I will settle for Justin. You are just profitable enough to make a living as a professional trader. I'll settle for that. Thank you so much, man. Matt Sandstrom says, Litecoin leading the market again, just like December, January. Wow. Yep, that was actually, it's probably my best performing trade that I have on right now is the LTCM19 long that we called. Very happy with that trade. In fact, we've hit 2 of 3 take profit targets. I do have a trailing stop loss at my break-even price right now. Ferguson, what's going on, man? Happy Friday. Glad you can make it today, too, as well, man. Philip Tudor asks for fun, BTC. You know, now we can do a little, like, request section, man. Let's do requests. Add some text. Never thought about doing that. Move the ASIC over. Put requests right here. There we go. Okay, what were we talking about? Talking about Bitcoin. There we go. Oh, it loaded. I just had to give it a minute. So thank you. Thank you for the patience. Let's see here. So 6 hour short was generated on this candle. And yeah, we had about 7.4% profit off of that signal. Now we are getting a long signal from the 6 hour chart. Again, I don't trade against the dominant trend on the daily chart, but for those of you who are a little entrepreneurial, you could take the trade on the close of this candle. Again, not anything that I'm recommending. And honestly, listen, let's just talk about the reality. If Bitcoin breaks back up into a bullish trend, then that'll be amazing. Then we'll get back on the right side of the market when and if that signal generates. And you never want to be the guy calling the top of a bull market. You never want to be the guy calling the bottom of the bear market. So again, you have to understand that I'm very humble to know that I'm not exactly sure what price is going to do. I just know what over time, over my years of trading, has always been the correct statistical thing to do. And that's to just every single time take all the signals that my indicator gives me, that my strategy gives me to take. There are going to be times where I miss a movement. There are going to be times where I take a loss. That's absolutely fine. At the end of the year, I'm able to return enough to justify my existence as a trader and to make the investors happy, and everything is good and nobody bugs me. So, am I going to catch every single movement? No, most people think that they can. Most people have an unrealistic expectation as well. That, being a professional trader means constantly just being able to get every single move right. The more you expose yourself to the market, and more importantly than that, the more you need to be right, generally the more mistakes you start making. So it's always good to understand that we're not going to die if we miss every single move. All we need is the right moves for us. Let's scroll up here a little bit. Didn't Binance drop a proposal to do this with the 7,000 Bitcoin stolen, or fork Bitcoin to exclude the 7,000 plus Bitcoin? So that was a drop from CZ, and then he immediately walked it back because that's kind of silly. Fifth, Ronan, good to see you, man. Michael Weston, Mr. Ether, good to see you, brother. My idea is people trade altcoins to acquire more BTC in the long run. Generally, yes. Ferguson says you're better off not having experience so you can build the correct skills without being tainted by bad practices. Sometimes, yes. Yes, I would agree with that. Because it seems that most people who come in, who become students of mine, just end up having to forget everything that they thought of in the first place. Floyd, give you a big bro fist, man. Thanks for watching over there on DLive. Turn them red, or is that the camera? That could be the camera. Could be me too. Sometimes I get excited and I get Hulk red. Like Chaos Hulk. Yeah, for some reason, auto white balance always wants to turn on. There we go. I think I look more natural now. Dr. Angie Stone says, but Justin, governments are business, just the largest ones, but they work as checks and balances, levels of management, etc. I would completely agree with you, but we come down to that huge deterministic factor, is that governments have the authorization to enact solutions to their problems through the use of force. Regular businesses cannot do that. If I piss Pizza Hut off, they cannot send armed men to my house to rough me up. The government can and will. Governments are mostly anti-business unless a pile of cash is involved. I would actually disagree with that. I think that the liberal governments are mostly anti-business unless a pile of cash is involved. And we've had a liberal government in America for quite a while. And again, that's politically agnostic, but that's just generally the way that works out. Liberal governments tend to be not very good for businesses, not very good for investments, regardless of where you are, regardless of who you are. And conservative governments typically return well for investors. Now, again, there's corruption and stupidity and and malfeasance and every aspect of the market cycle and every aspect of economics that you're going to get into whenever you have a government involved. Preventing forest fires are bad for the GDP. Fifth Ronin says I could talk about unicorns and rainbows all day. I would still watch because of the intelligence and the way you forward the discussion. I hope so, man. Sometimes I forget my train of thought. There's too much going up in here at once. I've been living in a spreadsheet for the last week. I've been working on this. It's eventually going to be an automated risk management system for use with trading. But moving forward, so there's that. I'm also developing the risk management module of PTP, so that I can fully explain all the different ways that you can position size, when you want to flip this switch for your position sizing, when you want to flip this switch for your position sizing, what are the technical aspects that have to be true to justify those flipping of the switches, what technical aspects have to be true to reduce position size, when do you take a half risk trade, when do you take a full risk trade, how do you scale into a position, how do you scale out of a position, all those things are really, really important. How do you measure your wealth, what's a quick way to convert, all these things that most people don't think of that are really, really, really fundamental and honestly come down to what majority takes up my time. Executing a trade, discovering a trade, finding a trade, that's easy. It takes me, once you understand PTP, scanning the market does not really take a whole bunch of time. Putting the trade in with the correct parameters and actually managing the money, that's what is time consuming. And so that's why it's important for us to focus on the nitty-gritty aspects of what real trading is, because we have to understand that trading is not just entry and exit. It's mostly money management. So if your money management skills are not key, then you're not going to get the results that you want. Weekends with Reese says, can you take an LTC USD? I saw we closed above the daily baseline yesterday, but WADA did not give the entry signal, so I'm waiting. Should I try to get back in on the daily baseline? Let's take a gander. Let's go to requests, and let's put LTC USD down. All right, now before I scroll down the chat anymore, let's finish with our Bitcoin analysis, and then we'll get into Ethereum, and then we'll start going through the requests. And then we'll look at long-term charts, we'll look at traditional markets, and we'll look at Forex. Sorry, guys, really thirsty this morning. Maybe I should just guzzle the whole bottle of water down, or the whole cup of water down, and then maybe I won't be so thirsty after a while. Adam Smith is your friend, Justin. Classical liberalism is good. Yeah, I have nothing against classical liberalism. I have something against modern liberalism. Invisible hand of the market, yeah. Anyways, so yeah, not a whole lot to do on Bitcoin today. Again, I'm not really excited about the reversal trade, but it doesn't really matter how I feel. Anybody who took a reversal trade did well off of it. Let's see. Let's take a gander at... I don't even know what I would put up. Yeah, let's put up... yeah, even TT... yeah, even TT didn't pull a reversal long out of this. And I do know some people who use TT as a reversal indicator. Again, that's their own preference. It's totally fine. It's not how I trade, but it's cool. Yeah. Okay, so let's go down to the lower time frames and see if we saw anything today. Again, we're not really counter trading the dominant trend. So if we go here on the 15-minute chart, here was the profitable movement here. Then we had pronounced consolidation for a while. We had another good volatile movement to the downside, and we pretty much just rebounded off the low ever since, reaching a low here of 74.51 and traversing all the way up to above 8,000. So nice bullish movement right here. And if we go take a look over at sensor charts as well, let's go look at our BitMEX stats and see who got kicked out of trades. Yeah, look at that. A lot of short liquidations, 3.7 million short liquidations on that latest movement to the upside right here. Of course, this is the 1-minute chart. Yep, so interestingly enough, roll this down a little bit. Don't really like the way the tension does this because it's always like up. Here we just the latest pump, just really over just in the last few moments of minutes. This went from 7,900 to 8,100 pretty sharply, and then pretty much over the evening hours. This is actually about 1 o'clock in the morning, excuse me. 1 o'clock in the morning, went from 7,800 up to 8,000 as well. So a lot of long liquidations here. I think that was pretty much when we were doing the show yesterday. That was, yeah, just right during the middle of the show right there. And then we pretty much had short liquidations ever since. Massive amount of short liquidations here and massive amount of short liquidations here. So again, looking at those lower time frames can be helpful for those intraday trades. But as you can see, typically, you know, the idea is that, man, when you get a lot of short liquidations, then the market's going to turn around the other direction. Well, that hasn't really worked this entire time. You know, on the lower time frames, there has been a micro, really a meso, if you look at the meso time frames as well, trend to the upside. Now, that doesn't counteract the dominant trend on the daily, so we're only really looking to trade in the direction of the dominant trend of the daily. And does this have the capacity to break back up and re-enter into a bullish trend? Absolutely. And if that happens, we'll take the trade in that direction when it happens. Right now, all we're seeing is a retest of the baseline, so a retest of support turn resistance from below, and this is not really the moment when you want to panic and exit your position. So we definitely want to wait until the candle closes, and we'll make a more educated decision then when our indicators and when we have more price data from the market. So let's go take a look at Ethereum. Going to Ethereum on Coinbase as well. Let's throw Kodrigo off there for a while. And really, I mean, this is just looking in lockstep identical. Not having as strong a movement to the upside. There's been more volatility on Ethereum, as we often will see. More volatility on Ethereum. And some, you know, just some tests of anybody entering into long positions. We can see them getting kicked out as shorts have been getting liquidated en masse. But at the end of the day, all we still do see is price retesting the baseline, retesting support from below this time. So again, very same situation. If you are in a short position, this is not the time where you want to panic and do something just because price has put in 3 days of bullishness. Now, does this mean that price will not continue to put in bullishness? Absolutely not. I'm not trying to predict which way price is going to go. What I am saying is that typically, if you're in a position and if you're in a long position and price comes down to support, that's typically not where you want to exit your position and sell right at support. Just as if you're in a short position and price comes up to resistance, you don't typically want to exit your short right at resistance. So make sure that you're not taking my word for gospel. Make sure that you are sticking to the rules that you set in place when you entered into the trade. Ray Marvin Diocno, thank you so much for the subscription over there on YouTube. So, right. I want to make sure that everybody who is doing their own trades is doing their own trades. I love hanging out with you guys. I love talking about the markets, but just make sure that if your system is telling you to exit the position, that you do so. Okay. But just make sure that included in your position is some understanding of unsensitivity. You don't want your indicators too sensitive that they're kicking you in and out all the time, but you need them to be sensitive enough to give you good signals. And the only way that you can determine that is through lots of back testing, right? Lots of back testing and then forward testing in current times. We've done all of that. Let's go down to lower time frames. I don't think we're going to see anything. I think this is going to be very similar to our scan of Bitcoin. The 12-hour is not signaling along at this point in time. The 8-hour is also not signaling along. Even though we are getting a signal on Minx, we are not getting Wada-Atar explosion confirmation. And we're not also either, and also we're not getting a primary signal on Wada-Atar either, just by dint of our bar being below our explosion level. But our explosion level is also tilted down. And we're also having falling volume on this movement to the upside, right? So again, a trend can continue on low volume, but typically you're going to want the candles or the movements that break. Miguel Rogiers, and I probably said that last name wrong because I don't think that you're going to pronounce your last name like the French would if your first name is Hispanic. But I apologize, and I'm not trying to assume your nationality. But thank you for the subscription, my good friend. You typically want the volume on the candle or cluster of candles that breaks the baseline, i.e. moves the trend from bearish to bullish or bullish to bearish, to have the most volume. And then you want price to continue on low volume after that. You're going to want to look for volume coming in mass at the end of a trend. So I'm not really seeing that in this example right here. I'm seeing low volume, falling off volume on the movement to the upside, and I'm not seeing the trend shift on the daily. Now, does that mean that it can't? No, but we'll watch and see. All right, 6-hour is going to be giving you a long signal now. Again, if you take that, just keep in mind that you're trading against the dominant trend, so not a signal that we're going to want to take. So and the 4-hour did give you a valid long signal here on this candle. Wada-Atar actually would have got you in earlier, but you would have had been using some different kind of confirmation because Minx was obviously not throwing up the confirmation signal. Again, Minx is there to filter out bad trades and get you in good trades. Doesn't mean it's right every time. No, it's about right 70% of the time, which makes it a very, very, very good indicator. So and still be in that long position from right here. So the 4-hour did get you into an Ethereum trade, again, trading against the dominant trend on the daily. I digress. 3-hour got you in here as well, still in that trade. And the hourly actually got you in down here The hourly also got you in here, but that was a losing trade, and then gave you a 1 hour short right here, which was a really good trade. And then gave you this 1 hour long, which was a really good trade as well. So I think that's as far as we're going to go down on Ethereum. Not getting any signal to do anything now. This candle did give you a continuation long again on the hourly, so things are doing quite well there as well. And let's take a look at targets for that trade. We've hit take profit 1 and we've hit take profit 2, just really near the top of that wick. You'd have an additional take profit on Ethereum of, zoop, let's call it 256.50. Okay, so with that being said, let's scroll over to the chat and we'll also look at these requests. So Fund BTC, it's 12:43, so we've got about 17 minutes till the break, and then we'll flip the tunes on. We could probably flip the tunes on now. Let me know if I need to turn the music down a little bit, guys. Ready, steady, Eddie, man. What's going on over there on Twitch? Someone making assumptions in here? Lydia says, if I utilize the 13 exponential moving average on a 1 hour chart, can I still trade within that using the same rules as the daily? You can. You can typically. Now, typically I like to use the 13, and I don't typically trade on lower time frames. But I would recommend that you experiment with trying different baselines. So for example, like when I go down to the 1 minute chart, I'm using the 55 exponential moving average when I used to trade Forex, right? And very similar to trading XBT USD on the 1 minute chart. When you go to something like the 30 minute chart, you want to try the 21 exponential moving average. That's just my preference, right? You can use CC even to access all of those. So I think that the 13 works very, very well on the 1 hour. I think the 21 would also work quite well. So you just want to test and see what's going to work better. You just want to test and see what's going to work better for the rest of the components in your trading structure. How do stablecoins make money for the creators? Because anything that is backing up the stablecoins can be utilized as the basis for investment. Okay, so so let's say I'm Mark Zuckerberg and I'm creating Global Coin. Let's say that it's just in its basic form. It's just there's a pile of money of US dollars that is backing up every single stablecoin $1 value. Well, that money isn't just sitting there devaluating from inflation. I have that money in bonds. I have that money in a basket of stocks. I have that money in a bank account that's returning interest. I have it working for me. I'm also issuing loans off of that as well. So there is so the same profit incentive for the stablecoin creator is the exact same as a bank. So when you take money to a bank and you give your money to a bank, they don't just like throw it in their vault and it sits in there. No, they use it as the basis for loans. They use it as the basis for investments. Trender18, thank you so much for the subscription over there on YouTube. They're going to use it. They're going to use that money to make money off of money. Is there a video explaining what are? There is, man, in the Trading Crypto 101 playlist. Hey, Frederick, good to see you, brother. All right, so coming over here to Fund BTC, we did get a long signal yesterday on Fund BTC. So at the close of last evening's candle, exactly what Tether is doing. Yeah, do you guys think that BitMEX isn't making money off of Tether? DigFinex, actually? Of course they are. And generally, that's fine. There's no problem with that. There has to be an economic incentive to have a stablecoin because there are many benefits to having a stablecoin in the first place for the market, for you as a holder, for you as a trader. But the fact that they're not publicly audited makes it a problem. Long Beach Crypto 323, thank you so much for the subscription on YouTube. So anyways, yeah, so Fund did generate a long signal yesterday. Let's see if we hit take profit 1 yet. No, we didn't. We came close. We wicked up to our ATR qualifier. So this is just a trade that we're holding in. We see nice rising momentum. Volume is pretty steady right here. Not a massive increase in volume right here, but we'll see how the trade works out. overall, altcoins are having a nice little bullish expansion right now. Felix Amaro, thank you so much for the sub on YouTube as well. YouTube popping today, man. And then let's also look at LTC USD per request. I don't know where you're. We'll just look at Coinbase. Yeah, you're right. We did not generate a long signal on LTC USD yesterday. We are going to be generating one on the close of this daily candle, but we're not going to be able to take that long because we are right now closing above our ATR qualifier line, which means we are allowed to get a pullback. Again, I actually for the guys who are in the premium group who have access to all the indicators and understand PTP, that is, I wrote out, I went through the Ask Me Anything channel that we have in the Discord, and I went ahead and compiled the answers. I picked about 5 or 6 questions that I want to take the time to go over. Obviously, this Sunday, we're going to go over all those questions. We're going to talk more about PTP, and we're going to talk about 3 commas. We're going to show live trading on 3 commas and break that down and how we actually use it in purpose, how I use it anyways, how I use 3 commas. And that's actually one of the things I want to go over is the pullback rule. So for those of you guys, we're going to cover that on Sunday because it's pretty detailed, right? There's a lot of ways to there's not a lot of ways to do it. There's very specific rules of how to do it, and then when we incorporate that with 3 commas, there's tools that we have access to that are actually going to make that easier. Fecklin, thank you so much for the follow over on Twitch, man. All right, let's double check here. So let's look at, so LTC USD, given the long signal on today's candle, we can't take it. Maybe we can get it on the pullback tomorrow. Let's check over on Finex and see if other exchanges gave us the long. Nope, same over here on Finex, didn't get us in. Wada Atar too, just took time to flip, man. Let's see here, LTC USDT. Yeah, same thing. Not getting the long signal until today. Now, obviously, we took the LTC M19 trade. This is a trade we're in. Very happy about this one. You can see we got the continuation long right here. We have take profit 1 and take profit 2, waiting on take profit 3. And honestly, this trade's going quite well. I've got my trailing stop loss set. If we hit take profit 3, then I'll just tighten up that trailing stop loss and let that baby ride. So you just take the signals that your system gives you, and you do well. Similar over here. All right. XRP for institutional use. Would it not be a set rate as a stable coin? It could. I mean, I've heard that is their plan for what they want to do, but as long as something is being traded in the open market, it's going to be difficult. Even Tether is volatile. So Tether is traded against the United States dollar, and as soon as you give people the option to buy or sell it, its value is going to go down. The reason that it's stable, right, is that you're allowed to, just like the US dollar used to be stable with gold, is that you're able to go to, so back in the day in America, is that you were able to take dollars and they were redeemable in gold, and there was an exchange rate with the United States government, right? So whatever the exchange rate was at that point in time, you could go in and redeem your dollars for however they were worth in gold at that point in time. Tom S, where's the signal? Right here on my chart where it says continuation long, and just over here on my chart where it says go long. Line them up just like that. Let's see here. So yeah, weekends with Reese. You can try and get it on the daily baseline, but what you really want to do is before that, look for the pullback. Asda says, I broke PTP rules and took the LTC USD trade and already hit take profit 1. Awesome, man. Will I be moving my Bitcoin to USD or another stable coin? I'm already out of Bitcoin except for my short. Politicians actually know, we know they never tell the truth. Yes, they do. If trading is as mechanical as you say, why don't you use some bots to do the trades for you? Maybe it's control, but it's also that there are aspects of discretion that as so far as I know, are very difficult to code into bot logic. Again, if you are that right programmer, then hit me up. Be glad to do some stuff. There are certain elements that would be fine to automate, but I've been trading this way for a long time, so maybe it's me being an old curmudgeon. Jake Rezio says, what is this mythical PTP I keep hearing you saying? Is this some sort of ancient incantation that trading wizards have discerned? PTP is just an acronym for Pathways to Profit, which is my personal style of trading that utilizes higher time frame mechanical-based rules and is the course that I teach. I teach individuals to trade exactly how I teach from the ground up, no prior knowledge necessary, because prior knowledge is generally going to be a hindrance because you're going to have to trade completely differently. Up 22% on my Deribit account from 7630. Congratulations, man. That's awesome, dude. Midwest Attempts asks for VChain. Let's check out VChain. So we got a long signal here. We got to pull back to the daily baseline right now. No early exit signal yet, so nothing to do, man. All Infinity. Hey, what's going on? Elijah Finch, what's going on, brother? Edward Y2 says, so should we wait longer to enter for Bitcoin? No, I mean, let me make that very clear. You should do whatever your strategy tells you to do. I won't be entering Bitcoin. In fact, I'm in a short on Bitcoin right now. I won't be entering Bitcoin until my strategy tells me to go long. I'm here every day. So if you want to check back in with us, again, I'm not the guru of the market. I'm just a professional trader. So could Bitcoin go up? Could Bitcoin go down? I don't know. Any professional trader knows that they don't know that. But I know that the risk to reward overall time weighted, the way that I trade strategically, tells me that right now is not the time to take a long position on Bitcoin. Bitcoin 2, please. Mr. Ether. I almost want to say no, but it's you, bro. All right. Well, after yesterday's massive interstellar pump, price continues to move up. Why? Because trends can often continue for quite a while. So up 6,904%, currently up about 1,900%. So congratulations today, but where can you actually get this stuff, man? Go see. So here's what I want to talk about. Let's go to markets. Okay, so yeah, let's make that really, really clear, right? This is only available on Crex24, right? And I have nothing against Crex. I've talked to some of the guys over there. They're good people. But I don't do any trading on any exchanges like that, right? It's not what I do. I know that there's a whole subculture and subclass, and I don't mean sub, like you're subhuman, but I just mean a subclass, right? It's just a word. It's just hierarchy. Not hierarchy, sorry. Moving on. Of individuals who that is their game, like they're just pure shit coin traders. They get coins on all these CoinBridge and all these other coins, and they look for these big gains. The problem is that I can't trade in those markets due to liquidity, right? I just can't, right? I'm not trading like that. I'm not trying to turn $500 into 15,000. It's a completely different field for what I'm trying to do with my capital. So what we have to understand is $551 in 24-hour volume. Let's go at historical data. Okay. All right. So yeah, we went from volume, and then yesterday absolutely exploded. Okay. This is not generally how sustained trends start. Okay. Now BTC2 might go up, it might go down, and I'm not trying to impart my fundamentals on this, but because to do that we have to go look at the chart. So let's look at the BTC2 chart. And let's just go down to the hourly. Okay, let's go down to the hourly and see if we could have just traded this thing PTP style. All right, so we would have gotten a signal to go long. Oh, come on. There we go. Potentially here. Let's see if everything lines up. No, not right there. See from what we do get one. So potentially KST, volume oscillator, and MFI would have gotten us in here. We could have caught the majority of it. I don't have a continuation indicator here. And that's how we would have been able to get back in all of this. All right, now we did get a long signal. Got water in my beard. So we did get a long signal right here from MFI and volume oscillator confirms. And if we go look at what KST has also given us the go ahead to if we're using that as a confirmation indicator. So if you're looking for a continuation trade, you did get one here. It's actually just a primary signal. So again, here's a long trade. If you would have taken that over there on CREX 24, you'd be up about 32% so far. And, you know, to be quite honest with you, this is a pretty hot market right now. You know, I just looked at that. There's about $500,000 a day going in and out of this thing. So this is, do I want to detract anybody from taking these trades? No. Are they trades that I take? I think that you're generally going to have, if you only trade on larger exchanges, you're just going to have to deal with a lot less anxiety and uncertainty than you're typically going to have on other things. And so sometimes you're going to miss out on stuff like this. And maybe these are obviously life-changing trades for most people. But the reality is, very few individuals who are retail traders are going to be able to do much with this, right? This looks really impressive on paper, but it's not easily repeatable. It's not easily repeatable. I don't know. It's difficult to strike a balance between, hey man, get out there and hustle and make money, because I respect that. And there's also, like, just with somebody who's done this for a long time and lived through this in 2016. Like, I saw all kinds of stuff like this in 2016. And I've studied it. And there's not enough liquidity. There's not enough volume there to get somebody to pay that amount at the top, right? So let's say you bought $1,000 and then thought you were going to sell it at 6,000%. There's not enough liquidity there. And that's why this is what happened within the span of an hour, right? We went from this level to this level in the span of an hour. I digress. Again, huge shout out to anybody who was able to profit off BTC2's pump. Do I think this is something that's sustainable? Could be. I have no idea what the future for BTC2 is. So trade it just like anything else. But yeah, as far as trading it like anything else, you would have gotten along, depending on, again, on your strategy, something would have got, I mean, any decent PTP system would have gotten you in right around here. Okay. We're using MFI, would have actually gotten us in right here. KST is confirming. Looks good. And we're above 0 on our volume oscillator, so we're using that as volume confirmation. And rising volume. Not bad. And as I said, if you had entered right there, you would have potentially be up about 41% actually. Sorry, I underestimated it a little bit, so congratulations. And it seems like if you're a regular retail trader, so if you're taking, you know, anywhere from $500 to $2,000 position sizes, there's enough liquidity there to kind of do stuff. I still think you're going to battle it and fight it, but and Mr. Ether, you are the king, man. So shout out to you, brother. Thank you, Cobalt Kangs. Highly appreciate it. Bitcoin Millionaire, what's going on? Kyle Kangas. What percentage do I trail my stops? It depends on ATR percentage and current volatility. Just put the baby to sleep. Perfect timing. Right on, brother. Did I see a pump? Yeah, man. Do I feel the pullback is over? I really don't actually know. I thought I was upside down with the face fungus growing. Legendary info as always. Thanks, man. Thank you, brother. Would circuit breakers stop whales from manipulating BTC? Oh, I didn't see your, just a joke. I don't want to see BTC2. So, sorry. So, after an hour-long expose into BTC2, which you clearly said you didn't want to see, well, there you have it, man. Careful what you post in the chat. Anyways, guys, it is 1:02. We're going to take a brief break. When we come back, we're going to continue to take requests, but we're also going to look at long-term charts, long-term analysis, make some ideas of what's likely to happen in the future for Bitcoin, and we're also going to look at Forex and traditional equity. So don't go anywhere, guys. If this is your first time to the channel, give us some love, man. Whether you're watching across YouTube, Twitch, DLive, or Facebook, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, give us a follow, give us a subscription, and make sure to share us around to your family, your friends, even people you don't even like. Got to get this information in front of people. I'll be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, thanks for staying in there. And we're back live. We are back live. Okay. Let me get back to these questions, guys. Thank you so much for the patience and for hanging in there, guys. We're back. Let's see here. Michael Weston's got a hydraulic pump coming for the tractor. Tried ordering a BTC pump. No luck yet. Hey, price is moving up. What are you talking about? Caribbean Crypto Show. What's going on? Paths to profit. Justin, are you writing your version of Maps of Meaning? You know, I've got 12 Rules for Life over there by the wonderful Dr. Jordan B. Peterson. I've seen him live. I went to his tour when he came through my state. Got to meet the man in person, got to shake his hand. He's a hell of a dude. Got a nice handshake. And Maps of Meaning is a difficult book to read, but I did read it. Tom S. says, you only follow your indicators. Is that the main way you trade? Correct, sir. No patterns or anything. No patterns. My wife doesn't believe in me. How was May's profits? Total P&L of all trades was 480%. So it's actually not P&L. So if you just divide up total percent gains from entry to take profit, the last take profit, excuse me. So that's how we calculate things for the public facing. It's very difficult. And this is something that I've actually, I don't want to say struggled with, but when you're providing signals and when you're trying to cater to the possibilities of everybody that could take your trades under different scenarios, under different position sizing rules per PTP, it's impossible, right? Because in my risk management strategy, there are 3 different position sizes that you can put on at different times based upon how many trades you have available, how much available capital do you have to risk, what is your risk percentage, i.e. the position size is going to be different for everybody. So calculating an average position size for everybody is going to be completely nonsense. In fact, this is something that I just went over with our team on how to reflect more accurately. So what I've decided to do instead of making that any different, because it's not inaccurate, it's completely accurate. So the only difference is you're going to need to calculate your actual P&L based off of that yourself. So instead of taking all the time, pain, effort, and energy into trying to figure out and putting really the extra time into my day of figuring out what is the right position size to recommend for everybody, what I've decided to do is invest that time and energy into the risk management module in the premium webinar series for Pathways to Profit, so that individuals get trained and understand exactly how to manage their position sizes. So I've got Scott has it up. We'll probably circle that on the socials today. I think it just got published today, and I do need to update that background image. I'll probably do that tomorrow. So for tomorrow's show, I'll have that up there. But me personally, I returned 46% of my capital in May. All right. I don't care if you don't believe me. That's exactly what I returned last month. Averaged position sized out, you would have made anywhere between 13 to 66% return on investment. And that's your entire account balance. So May was very, very good to us. And that's with applying the right amount of risk. And that's why I tell people, like, the people who think you're going to catch every movement are silly. What matters is your P&L at the end of the month, at the end of the year. Okay. And right there in that month, I just knocked generally anybody who's trading Forex back on their axis. Because again, as I said earlier, Warren Buffett is considered one of the world's best investors, and he returns 20% a year on average. All right. The stock market on average returns 11% a year, shifts around a little bit, but on average, 11% a year. Just buying a basket of indices if you average out the last decade. So individuals are paid millions of dollars, much more than that. Hedge funds are paid much more than that, just to return an extra 2 to 3% on the market per year. Okay. So most professional traders that I know who are Forex traders shoot for 30% a year return on their investment. Now, some years they do much better than that. Some years they do a little bit worse than that, but 30% is generally the number. In cryptocurrency, you do have the ability, since we are in such a volatile market, to bump that up with the correct strategy and with the correct risk. Okay. But you don't need to, especially when you get to a certain level where all you're trying to do is grow your retirement account faster than the market, which I think cryptocurrency offers, especially if you are trading the liquid pairs. So if you're trading Bitcoin, if you're trading Ethereum, if you're trading things that are on Binance, right? If you're trading things that are on ByBit, right? You want to be trading the more liquid pairs, the more liquid currencies. I would never delve, and regardless, I don't really care. So that's why my comments when I looked at BTC2, you'll never see me put my capital on any small exchange. Putting your cryptocurrency on exchanges already carries a hint of risk. This is why I'm very bullish on decentralized exchanges. This is why I'm a big proponent of decentralized exchanges. They're not there yet. There's not enough liquidity and capital to make it worth the pain and the headache yet. But I digress. Sure, Noble Haha, the Pizza Hut analogy. Are the indicators on Bitcoin Daily giving a short signal right now? No, they gave a short signal on Bitcoin a couple days ago. We may not agree on macroeconomics, Justin, but I'm still always here to hear you out. Thank you, man. I should drink a whole glass or bottle of water as soon as I wake up every morning. I do. And then I drink bulletproof coffee. Uh, 20939 asked for the link. Let's check it out. Let's swing it, baby. All right, so Link BTC gave a long signal here that Wadatar did not confirm. Volume did confirm. So if you're using volume in place of Wadatar, which we can do, that's totally fine. But this is the hourly chart. Let's get back to the daily. All right. Okay, so actually Link BTC gave a signal here on the close of yesterday's candle. So Link BTC taking that to the upside. You're up about 7% so far. You haven't hit your first take profit target yet. So you're just riding this up. No reason to exit this trade. Everything looks quite nicely on Link BTC. Nothing to do right now. In fact, I would say that entering right now is asymmetric risk reward. Link USDT gave you a buy signal yesterday as well and performing much better. Up 10% currently on that. Altcoin's doing quite well today. VWAP EMA for the win, the real Kawato says. Sorry that I'm getting to you late. I think I'm going to start scrolling down there. What do I think about Binance going the stablecoin route? Well, it just means that we won't be able to trade BNB anymore. $20K Bitcoin by the end of 2019. Could happen, man. Fifth Ronin wanted us to look at Matic. I'm going to look at Matic USDT. Matic's a trade that I'm in. Break even right now. Matic BTC. Let's see here. Gave you a long signal here. Pulling back down to about break even right now on the Bitcoin pairing. Nothing to do right now. Velocity of money. Thank you, Long Beach. I appreciate that, man. Is John McAfee going to eat his D on TV? I don't know, man. Not at the moment, Frederick Eklund. Ready, steady, Eddie says, bots trying to take my job. Tom S says, there's so many YouTubers and people on Discord that offer alerts and their own systems for trading. Hard to decide who to follow. Can be confusing for newbies. Yes, it can, man. Yes, it can. I doubt it's going to... I doubt that's going to get any better, ever. You just got to pick with who you feel comfortable with and take a chance. Ideally, you want... This is always my recommendation for everybody. Whatever service that you decide to sign up for, if you do decide to sign up for a service, which there always will be, because there's always going to be educators and there's always going to be charlatans too. You want to sign up for a service that ideally is going to invest you with the tools and knowledge to do your own trading, right? You don't want to sign up for something that you're going to always be reliant and dependent upon, right? You want to give you something that teaches you the tools, or that gives you the tools and shows you the rules. That's what we do. But whether or not that's the route that you want to go, that's absolutely fine. That's your own decision. Mander TV. Yeah, you can go to results.krakencryptocurrency.com, man. What do I think about Tron long term? So are you saying you must unlearn what you have learned in the Yoda voice? A little bit that. How do we get TradingView to support ByBit? Then I can automate again. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to start a social media campaign, Mr. Ether. You are pretty active over there on Twitter. So I would just start tweeting incessantly at TradingView. Open up support tickets. It helps if you have a professional account. I've been bugging them already, so we just need to get like a petition or something down. Justin, is Wada Atar and Ichimoku a bomb strategy, both together or alone? I think that Ichimoku is often where I tell new traders to start, especially if you trade the whole structure, the whole system, because it gets you in the habit of taking a very structured, rigid, trend-following trades, right? There's a lot of stuff built into Ichimoku if you use it as a whole system. Wada Atar is, I would not recommend trading any indicator alone by itself. Wada Atar doesn't have all the components in it that Ichimoku has, for example. But Wada Atar is a fantastic indicator. It can be a great initiator. It can be a great confirmer. Do I trade traditional markets or options? No, not at this moment in time. I'm going to be going back into trading Forex here toward the end of the year. Let's see here. Dr. Faz wants me to try to pronounce a name that is not in my native tongue. Give it a shot. Miscellaneous is what that translated on Google Translate in Arabic too. So thank you so much for the subscription, Miscellaneous in Arabic. The BitMEX liquidations on Tensor charts are only available to paid members. Cannot figure out how to enable it. So on Tensor charts, you're just, I don't think you can see it, but you just go up to the upper top left where the 3 dashes are. You click on that, you go to BitMEX stats. If you're not a paid, because I haven't renewed my subscription in like a month, so I only have access to the 1 minute chart. But if you have, what's the word I'm looking for? If you do have the paid subscription, you get access to more time frames. Frederick, I did do ETHUSD. How are the bubbles today? The bubbles are good. Boom. The bubbles look good, man. Let's see here. Biggest gainers. Hedgehog coin still pamping a little bit. Arc, Walton Chain. What is this? Thor coin? Not like Thor coin. 0x, Crow coin. Oh, that's MCO. Sorry. This is the last hour? Oh, this is the last hour. Let's go to the last day. Oh, that got more impressive. Ding, 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 ding. Biggest gainers of the day. Ardor, up 40%. Zcoin, Litecoin, Neo. Everything's doing really good. S&T, everything up quite nicely. Everything up quite nicely. Ray says, if you send me 1 Bitcoin, I will send you 2 back. Mr. Ether, if you send him 10 Bitcoin, he'll send you 1 back. Right on, Bet. Awesome, dude. Awesome to hear your gains, brother. Michael Latner says, love the stream. How does HMQ look? Let's check out HMQ, man. Humanique. Let's see here. Long signal here on the 31st of May. That was a banger trade. Nothing to do right now, man. In fact, you just got a take profit long signal. When this candle closes, it'll be telling you to be out of a long position. Now, you are still bullish as denoted by price being above the baseline, but there's not an active signal yet at this point in time. Volume is very low, and you did have that kind of blow off top right here with that big massive volume spike back on the 4th of June. So, you know, we can still try to take reversal trades off the baseline, but yeah, nothing that I really want to do right now with Humanic. And we're not going to go over to the devil, so. Do I trade Holochain, Chainlink, Leo, or NCAN? I have no problem with trading Holochain. I have no problem with trading Holo, HOT. I have no problem with trading Link. I do not trade Leo because it's not on any exchange that I trade on. It's only on Bitfinex. And NKN, I don't trade because I'm not actively trading on Bittrex. So the only exchanges that I actively trade on are Binance, ByBit, BitMEX, and Deribit, right? And the majority of that is ByBit and Binance. So I trade every single pair that's on Binance, every single pair that's on ByBit, every single pair that's on BitMEX, and I do still have some funds on Deribit, right? Those are more long-term hedge positions, but Strat USD, let's check it out, buddy. We want an actual chart. So we'll just do Strat USD on Binance. Is that okay? As calculated by TradingView. Let's get rid of Quadrigo here for a second. Okay, so we did get a short trade on Strat here. Obviously, we can't short, but that would have been I'm sure that was a profitable trade. That went down about 11.31%. And nothing to do now. We're bearish on Strat because we're below the baseline, so we're not allowed to take longs. Nothing is signaling us for it to take a long. In fact, the only thing that this is telling us to do is to exit any short that we might be in, that we would have entered in here. So on the close of this candle, we'll exit. If we had any position left, that's just ensuring that we exit at a profit and not a loss. Stinky Linky, baby. All Infinity asks for BNB USDT, and then I'm going to take a look at EVX. BNB USDT. BNB Binba USDT is breaking above the baseline right now, but we don't have any indication to go long. And volume is not there either, and Wadatar is also not confirming. So this is not something that I take. This might take a couple days. And Jay Kreutzer talking about Link BTC. We looked at Link. We looked at Link earlier, and Wadatar did confirm and volume did confirm for Link yesterday. I think both on the BTC pair and the Link USDT pair, if I'm remembering correctly from yesterday. So Link USDT, correct. No, yeah, Link USDT did not confirm. BTC pair did confirm, though. Volume did, but Wadatar did not. It is confirming on today's candle. You could still technically take it. You're still within your boundary. But you got to see what, you got to wait and see what it looks like when we close. Lloydie, what's up, brother, up there? Okay, so, all right, let's go look at traditional markets and Forex. VET USDT on the 1 hour chart for Wayne Tech. Let's look at that real quick, brother. Oh, wait, we need to go to the daily first. Daily's bullish. We got a daily buy signal on VET USDT yesterday. That volume confirmed, but not WADA. So let's go to the hourly. Let's go to the hourly. You know, you kind of been getting chopped up here, man. You know, this was a trade, and that was probably a win. All right, maybe. There's really, the margin there is not great. Let's do though. Okay, you would hit your first take profit target on the hourly trade, and then you would have been out. You might have even been out at a loss here. Yeah, that was a bad trade. This was a good one though. Hit your first take profit on that USDT right now on the hourly. So you want your stop loss at break even, and just see how far this thing goes for you, man. Okay, getting back to the daily, let's go take a look at total crypto market cap. This is going to look just like Bitcoin, breaking above the daily baseline right now, not signaling along yet. So just again, another leading indicator telling us to be a little cautious. Total 2 as well. Altcoin market cap doing actually a little bit better relatively than Bitcoin right now, as we're all seeing. Longs to shorts ratio. Let's actually go look at longs in and of themselves. Longs having a nice big drop off. Coming back today on this is just everybody trying to go long currently, and shorts continuing to drop off as well. You know, again, not everything just fell off. This is consolidation. Could we have more bullishness? Yes, absolutely. But we're not getting any indicative signal of future direction from sentiment here either. Bitcoin BTC1 pumping along quite nicely, as with the rest of the market. Let's go down and look at lower time frames on BTC1 as well, and get rid of Quadrigo because that's a lot in my face. Okay, I was looking to see if there was a... Again, this is not the way I trade, but just pointing it out. There is a gap here. That's all the way up at 86.04. If we're getting up there, though, on the daily, we're going to get a bullish signal anyway. So, GBTC gapped up today about 5%. BVol 24-hour, though, continues to drop. All right. So what have we talked about BVol 24-hour? When we start dropping below 3%, it becomes less attractive to trade, especially intraday, right? Historically. So we are at 3.01% Bitcoin historical volatility. Bitcoin dominance continuing to drop off, though. All right. Having a little bit of a surge today, but overall, right? Overall, opening lower than we did yesterday. And we'll see if we close lower than we did yesterday. We've been in a downtrend on Bitcoin dominance, which is good for altcoins and overall negative for the entire market. USDT dominance has been rising lately, taking a pretty steep hit. Everybody moving out of tether. You know, and this is it. You're always going to have this, and this is why we want to trade differently than other people are trading. We want to move fluidly in and out of our pairs and not do the predictable decisions, right? So everybody's rushing into Bitcoin. Might end up being the right decision for them, but it won't be the right decision because of any system that they took. Most individuals are buying Bitcoin right now because they want to catch the wave. Traditional markets continue to soar, right? S&P, we got a long signal on the S&P 500 yesterday and opening up to a very strong open up 1.50% currently on the S&P. Same for the NASDAQ. We didn't actually get a long signal on the NASDAQ yesterday because the NASDAQ got hit the hardest from all the traditional markets, but we won't be able to take the long on the NASDAQ. So we're just going to have to pass that one along. We're done on that. The Dow, however, we did get the long signal on the Dow yesterday as well, one that we were able to take, and currently up, gapped open actually. Gapped open, currently up about 1% on the Dow. So things are looking pretty good. Let's go look at our Forex pairs. And again, if you guys have Forex pairs that you'd like to suggest, let me know. It's kind of difficult sometimes for me to keep up with the chat. Why trade Forex if the ROE is higher on crypto? Because that's what my investors want, and it's good to diversify. Central chart sucks. It's all right. What side is that Bubbles at? CryptoBubbles.net. Can I take a look at UAA traditional at crypto? Yeah, let's add it on the request list. We did go over Litecoin. I would not be taking a Litecoin trade at this point in time because I'm already in one. So I wouldn't be entering into something that is already put in that. DNT BTC on the 12-hour. Yeah, we're going to look at gold here in just a second, Wendy, unless you want me to look at GLD. We'll look at ZAO USD on Awando. Euro dollar. Long signal over here. We weren't able to take that, but we were able to get a pullback right here. In fact, even a baseline buy. Okay, so here's the euro dollar. Here's the euro dollar right here. Where are we allowed to take reversals? At the baseline. Boom. Up. If we'd have bought at the baseline, we'd currently be up about 139 pips. That's a great trade. 80 to 120 pips is what we want to shoot for. Dollar yen telling us to be out of our short here. Gave us the original short signal here. So that was actually a small loss. Pound dollar is probably going to be signaling a long here shortly. Aussie dollar, as we talked about, signaled a long on the 30th of May, continuing to go along quite nicely. We've already hit one take profit on that. Up about 70 pips so far. Dollar Canadian, again, gave us the short signal on this candle right here and dropping off the face of the planet. We had to sit through about 40 pips of drawdown. And now currently sitting at about 125 pips worth of profit. Awesome. Aussie, dollar Swissy similarly gave the continuation short on this candle right here and continuing to drop off the face of the map. Euro yen is actually doing quite nicely. So the euro yen is actually going to be a long on the close of today's candle. Let's double check and see if we're going to be able to take that. Yes, we will. Euro yen looks like a good trade. Volume looks good. WADA is confirming and long signal right now. That's pretty much a perfect setup. That's how you want all your trades to look right there. Euro pound continuing its ascension into the stratosphere. Euro pound was something that we talked about. Long signal generated over here on the 8th of May and currently up 275 pips, 277 pips. Just absolutely fantastic. Kiwi dollar was along here, continuing to move up. Nothing to do yet. Not an early exit yet. CAD dollar, again, massive long, just as the dollar CAD is a massive short. Let's look at the dollar yuan. The dollar yuan is actually going to be signaling a nice long trade right here. So all of our reversal trades off the baseline have done quite well. Pound CAD was a short right here, and that looks like, oh, how many pips is that? About 100 pips. That's good. All right, looking at gold. Gold continues to surge. Gold continues to absolutely surge, right? Now, there's a couple different ways on this, right? Now, we didn't get a pullback, so traditionally, this is actually most likely a trade that we would have not have gotten because when we see the long signal, we actually closed above our qualifier. That qualifier is there to protect us. Now, there is a little bit of discretion where we get a signal here and we close below, and then when we close above, maybe we can re-enter the trade, especially because we have here, if you were using WADA as your primary indicator, you would have caught this trade. Again, as we've talked about before, it seems like WADA is doing really, really well on these Forex markets, traditional markets. Now, I've tested Minx on all these markets, and she performs very well over time. But in these latest examples that I've seen over the last month or so that we've been looking at traditional markets, it does seem like WADA has been the better initiator. Totally comfortable to say that. Going to Palladium. Palladium was along yesterday and continuing to move upwards, bouncing off the ATR qualifier. Looking at silver. Silver was along right here. We were able to get the pullback on this candle, doing quite nicely now. Already hit take profit 1 on our silver trade. Rhodium, because we were asked to look at this, was a continuation long on this candle. We did hit take profit 1 on Rhodium, stop loss of break even, and GLD continuing to pump as well, doing quite nicely. Now, GLD is one where we did catch the long signal quite nicely right here on the SIBO. So here on the 30th of May, 2019, and up about 4% on the GLD, which is commodity gold. So pretty good, man. Pretty good. Good days, good times. All right, let's look at request. UAA. Under Armour would have been along on this candle right here. Probably not an asset we would have been able to get here because we did. So here's a long right here that we're able to catch. That was a good one. This long, it's good that we didn't enter this because there wasn't much room for profit. Similarly, this is just a trade that we would not have taken because we're too high. Prices moved too far away from the baseline. So the only thing we're waiting for is a pullback. Up 5%, so good trade if you would have entered it there, but just statistically, that's not where we want to be doing things. Even WADA didn't get us in until that candle either. So waiting for it to come back down here about maybe 4 to 6% back within our buy zone. David Holler, man. Awesome, brother. Why was Bitcoin banned in India? I don't know. For that very reason, that's why. Actually, let's go look at the... I want to see how the Indian rupee is responding to the dollar based upon that. Nothing, really. I was kind of expecting a movement in one way or the other, but I actually have I was pretty bullish on the Indian rupee, but kind of leaning the other way. I don't really like that restriction, but we'll see. Right? Doesn't really matter my opinion. It does matter insofar as how I decide to diversify my savings in other currencies. But if we look at the INR right now, again, let's see here. Yeah. I've never traded the INR because it's not on a Wanda, and I don't trade on ICE. my opinion on Bitcoin right now. So just to surmise what I've been talking about, if Bitcoin gives us a signal to go long, which it is not currently, then we will take that signal. Right now, price is coming up to the baseline from below, so it's our first retest of support, i.e. resistance, after a volatile movement to the downside. So not really something that I want to take to the upside. Paul, Lonnie, thank you so much for the subscription over there on YouTube, man. Okay, let's go look at some of these requests. Seems like a little too much for me, guys. Yeah, that's much better. All right. Nothing to do on EOS. EOS is something I'm short on too as well. But we'll just relax. Same thing, coming up to retest the baseline from below. So nothing I want to go long on. And we'll see what the strategy tells us to do. Right now, it's not telling us to do anything. Should price cross into this territory, that would be an early exit signal. Not telling us to do nothing right now. No different over here on EOS M19. So it wouldn't generate a long signal just off breaking a price range. Everything would have to come together in PTP. So I don't know why I was looking at Matic BTC over here. This should be Ethereum. So we would have to close above the line that we're at. If we do close above the line, then I'll exit my short position. But it's going to take some time, man. Look how far away VPN is from the zero line, and Wadatar is still bearish. So I don't foresee taking along within the next couple days. And then if Bitcoin rockets, then I'm going to have to wait for a continuation anyways. DNT BTC on the 12-hour chart. DNT BTC, let's go to the daily. Well, DNT BTC has not closed above the daily, above the baseline on the daily yet, so I'd be very speculative about taking a lower time frame trade. But the 12-hour is signaling a long, and you did pull back to the baseline. Now, what it did confirm on this candle, it is not confirming on this candle, and you don't have the volume. So that is not a trade I would take. DTA BTC. All right, DTA BTC is given a long signal right here. It didn't work out too well for us over here. Let's double check. I mean, we are below ATR qualifier, so that is a trade we can take. There's good volume, WADA confirms. You just take the signals that your system gives you. You could have actually gotten it cheaper today. You could have got about 4% cheaper with a trailing buy feature, which is something we're going to talk about this Sunday. So, nothing to do right now. INTC, Intel. Intel was along yesterday on the close of yesterday's candle and opened up about up 2% currently on the day. I would not enter it now. We're going to be broaching above our qualifying line. Let's see how it closes here in a few hours. Let's look at PoonDX for you, man. PoonDX has been one of those kind of like chopping us up coins. I've taken a couple trades on PoonDX. One of them worked out real well. Most of them I just end up getting out at break even. Currently doing a wiffle waffle between 11 and 12 right now, whereas it was doing it between 10 and 11 forever. So it's kind of like a merry-go-round, right? Where You get in, it's like a waiting room where it's like, okay, if I buy at 11 now, am I going to get filled? And you just like spin around and everybody's just waiting like, oh, you got to fill at 11. Oh, great. And then you set your bid, you're asked for 12. And then you spin around. It's like, are you going to be the one that gets filled this time? Let's just roll and roll and roll and roll. Oh my God, I got filled at 12. Oh no, price is back to 10. Now I got to set myself for 11. Is your ass going to get filled at 11? And roll and roll and roll and roll and roll. Those of you guys who have traded MPXS know exactly what I'm talking about. I did get a long signal on the close of yesterday's candle, but we also got one over here that ended up being profitable for us here. So that trade did work out again if you would have gotten filled, which can be an issue. So you take every signal that your system gives you, man. That's how you trade. That's what you do. You're not smarter than your system. Let's talk about this real quick. So Facebook sources say that stablecoin white paper will come out on June 18th. I actually think this is really important, right? I think that Facebook coin is send some of them tomahawk ribeyes over here, man. Andrew Munns, don't get stingy with the ribs, man. Some ribeyes. All right, so this is from Cointelegraph. And so Facebook is going to launch its stablecoin supposedly on June 18th. All right. So TechCrunch reported yesterday, actually, excuse me. All right. So but not the currency itself. Their white paper. Oh my God. It's going to be a white paper release. I mean, we haven't seen so many of those. Of course, it's Facebook, so obviously we're pretty excited about this global coin thing. We're going to see what impact it's going to have. This is going to work on WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, Messenger, Facebook. And the value of Facebook coin will be secured with a basket of fiat currencies. So that's what I want to talk about. It's not backed. Listen, if it was just $1, they would have said, oh, it's backed by the dollar. It's not. They have a basket of fiat currencies, which means, and this is what's so key to understand, Facebook understands the concept of diversifying your portfolio, of diversifying your savings in not just stocks, not just bonds, because those stocks and bonds are going to be tied to the native currency of that country. But you actually should and need to diversify your savings in terms of foreign currency, right? So if you only have United States dollars in your savings account, what are you doing? Why do you not have some Chinese yuan in there? Why do you not have some Russian rubles in there? Why are you not doing your own research to identify what foreign currencies have the capacity that you're quite bullish on? Have you never researched foreign currencies? I feel it's something that you should probably do. People need to be doing their own research because, again, just as we trade mechanically, does not neuter us, does not suppress us from the ability to do our own research and develop our own investment theses about other assets, about other asset classes. You know, one of the best things that I ever heard Anton Creel say, and one of the best things that I like to tell people as well is, listen, just because I'm a cryptocurrency trader doesn't mean I'm like married to cryptocurrency. I am a trader. I'll go wherever the volatility is. Okay. And the question was, why would you go to Forex if the ROE on cryptocurrency is better? Because the stability is better on Forex, right? Because the risk is much less on Forex, right? I did very well on Forex and I've been doing very well in cryptocurrency. But the ability to move around as a trader and not get married to any one individual class doesn't mean that I can't do things as an investor. Doesn't mean that I can't develop my own investment theses and do stuff with Bitcoin or continue to trade Bitcoin. But again, you know, just like a lot of people will say, hey man, people come at me and they're like, hey, I'm a Forex day trader. Can you help me out? And just like that was the question that Anton Creel answered. And he said, that's ridiculous, man. Why would you call yourself a Forex day trader? You're basically saying I only trade one asset class and I only trade one time frame. You need to go, if you're going to be a trader, you need to go to where you're going to make money. Not say, this is how I'm going to do things, right? I currently trade the daily time frame. because all my back testing and all my current testing tells me that that's profitable. That's subject to change in the future if market conditions change. Thank you for throwing it. Highly appreciated, man. So this is also interesting. It says criticism of such projects nonetheless remains, most recently coming from U.S. rating agencies Weiss Ratings. So Weiss Ratings, as Obi-Wan Kenobi said, is a cesspool of scum and villainy. Okay? Their rankings are ridiculous. And then down here, quote, developer Juan Villaverde wrote, still, many analysts don't see it that way. They think it's apps like Apple Pay, Google Pay, and Alipay that could challenge the global financial system, even replacing banks with their new payment platforms. Exactly. Because they're quick, they're convenient, they're easy, and if you can route them around banks and get away from centralized currencies, so much the better. Indian lawmakers propose adoption of a 10-year jail term for crypto dealings. All right, so Indian lawmakers have reportedly proposed to enforce a 10-year jail term for citizens who deal with cryptocurrencies. Yeesh. So their draft bill is called Banning Cryptocurrencies and Regulation of Official Digital Currency Bill 2019. This is going to relate to those who mine, hold, buy, and sell cryptocurrency, as well as those who deal with cryptocurrencies directly or indirectly in the country. Now, this isn't passed. The last time we talked about Indian law as related to cryptocurrency, we were talking about their STO laws, their securitized token offerings, all right? And we were actually kind of bullish on that news in the first place, right? Indian rupee, INR, is one of the currencies that I've been bullish on for quite some time, actually, over the last several months. And it's done pretty well, performingly. WeChat in China does this already. So if passed, this would order holders of cryptocurrency to declare their assets within 90 days and to dispose the assets in accordance with the prescription of central government. Where are those assets going to get disposed to, is my question, right? Is the government like, nah, just give them to us. We got it. It's all good. 80. The bill includes a penalty system that reportedly envisions fines worth a threefold amount from the loss caused to the system or from the gains of crypto holders. Considered as non-bailable, the offense can also lead to a 10-year jail sentence for those who break the new rules. Yeesh. ByBit says, any idea where Facebook Global Coin will be available first? Yeah, it's going to be available from Facebook. Is this a joke? Let's find out. Well, let's go to the repository of all knowledge on the internet. Oops. So yeah, can somebody post a link that verifies that it is fake news? I'm not saying you guys are wrong. I know who to ask. I can get this solved right now if he's awake. I'll just message somebody from India. And waiting. Yeah, I mean, right. You know, from what I'm understanding, like there's a difference between fake news and then like actual news. I mean, this is even try to find something from the block. Block's usually pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't think it's fake news, guys. I mean, they haven't done it yet. It's a proposed bill, but that's different from something being fake news that was written as a joke. So it could turn out to be absolutely nothing, but we'll see. Whoop, whoop. Oh, we never like shared losses. Oof. Come on, Litecoin, let's go, baby. All right, guys. You know what time it is. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me for another exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin Market Update. Of course, I have been your host, Justin Wise, lead analyst and senior mentor at KrakenCryptocurrency.com. Thank you so much for spending your afternoon with us. Hopefully you found the information today helpful and useful. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, sarcastic remarks, and or death threats, make sure to leave them in the comment section down below, and I'll try to get back to you within 48 hours if it's a genuine, honest, and interesting question. You can also just say what's up. If you guys are not already in the Discord, make sure to hop in there, discord.krakencryptocurrency.com, to have access to our free trading group, receive information, communicate, chat, connect with people. You got to have something like that. You got to have peers. You got to have a system. You got to have people to help you out. You need community. It's a village. All right. If you guys are new to the channel, or if you just like the content or you're a returning viewer, make sure to slap a like at the bottom of the video if you're on YouTube. And if you're just coming around for the first time, whether you're watching us from YouTube, Twitch, DLive, or Facebook, make sure to, again, show us some love, give us a subscription, give us a follow, and make sure to share this around to your friends and family, even people you don't even like. Sure, they'll be your friend once you share this content. If you guys want to join us in the premium trading group and have access to our Pathways to Profit course, our proprietary indicators, our premium signals and setups, our one-on-one mentoring, as well as our private Discord community and everything else that comes along with it. You guys can, of course, check the link at the top of the screen or down in the description down below. I'd be happy to help you out, get the results that you want. All right, guys. Till next time, make sure to trade safely, and I will see you guys tomorrow.